Good morning and welcome to the February 18th. Um, I just see the emblem. Are we recording? Okay, all I see on my end is just the emblem. Okay, good morning and welcome to the February 18th infrastructure meeting. If we can have I'm Councilwoman Sylvia Ortiz, and if we can have the other two members introduce themselves, please.
David Banks, District 4.
Neil Dobler, District 7.
And good morning to staff. I was trying to find my agenda. So the first thing I think we want to do is we want to, excuse me, is to vote on a chair.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Councilman Banks.
Okay. I'll second that. Councilman Banks, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Or raise your right hand. Okay, it's 3-0. And Councilman Banks, congratulations. And you'll do a fine job. Everybody be patient with him. He's sick, but he's always sick. You can take over.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the nomination. And I hope to serve well as your chair. So I think we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting. Meeting's been called to order. We've elected a chair. Now we need to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to read them or go over them?
Move approval.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. So I approve the minutes. We're at action item number 4, amendment to 2023 bridge maintenance program. City manager, who's going to be doing?
Before we do that, we need to vote on the minutes, David.
Okay. Motion has been made to approve, seconded, and approve the minutes. All in favor? All opposed?
I'm a yes vote.
Okay. 3-0. Minutes approved. Number 4, action items. Are we doing all of these action items one by one, or are we allowed to just do them as a group?
Chair, I will of course defer to the city attorney, but because these are separate and distinct resolutions and separate and distinct projects, I think it's cleaner to go through them one by one. They're fairly straightforward. I do not expect to see to spend a lot of time going over them. We will just do a quick summary of the project for you.
Okay. Thank you, Braxton, for the clarity. We'll start with action item number 4A, amendment to 2023 bridge maintenance program.
Thank you, Chair. Steve Groen will be handling this and the next 7 items. Okay. Chair.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee. The first 2 items will sound familiar to you because they were both on last month's PI committee. There was an issue with the language on the resolution that we needed to correct. So that's why you're seeing them both again today. The first one is to amend the Bridge Maintenance Program CIP to move some funding to allow the second project.
I guess we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on the motions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, motion passes 3-0. We'll move down to action item number 4B, Branner
Yes.
Street Trafficway Bridge Repair Project.
Yep, and just like the previous one, this was also before you last month, and this also has a change in the resolution. This one and the previous one on the copies that you have today says that at its meeting on January 31st, 2025, the PI committee favorably considered that will be changed to reflect today's date when it goes in front of the governing board on March 4th. So that language will change, but this is the same project that you approved on January 31st to do some bridge repairs on the Branner Bridge.
Any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made to approve and seconded. Motion passes 3-0. Action item 4C, Southwest Topeka Boulevard, 21st Street to 15th Street project.
Once again, this is a road reconstruction project. We had a public meeting recently on this. It is to reconstruct the roadway, including curb and gutter replacement, sidewalk repair and replacement, including pedestrian ramps and stormwater repairs. The total price for this project is just shy of $8 million. $6,177,060 will be used in the half-cent citywide sales tax. The remaining $1.8 million will be funded by the water main replacement program.
Any discussion?
Quick question, Chair.
Yes.
Steve, I think when we discussed this project maybe last year, I think this is the one where we questioned whether it needed full depth replacement, and I believe there was studies done and basically came back with the recommendation to do full depth replacement. Is this the same project? Probably a question for Braxton.
Yeah. Councilmember Dobler, thank you so much for the question. Yes, we actually took cores along this entire corridor. As you'll remember, this street we inherited from KDOT, and the condition of those cores, because it was the original concrete, they were absolutely failing. And some parts of it looked like aggregate because the concrete was so badly fractured. So for that reason, we did make the recommendation that we do full depth reconstruction on this. It's also going to allow us to do some critical utility work, because some undersized stormwater and have some old water line. Because the corridor currently has lights and it has sidewalk, this is not one of those that we are going to be spending a lot of money on complete streets. There's one small section of shared use path that we're missing, that we're going to do an 8-foot wide shared use path so that we've got that continuous along the corridor over there by the expo. So happy to stand for any additional questions on the scope of the project.
Just one more question, Chair.
Yes.
How does the estimate for the countywide half-cent sales tax funding match up to the original estimate for this project, Braxton?
I can, if you give me a minute, let me see if I can lay my hands on that. Just while I'm pulling that spreadsheet out, I can tell you that these cost estimates were done back in, I think 15, when we were putting the JETO sales tax question together. Since then, we have had rampant inflation, and so we have had to adjust the project budgets on all of those JETO projects, substantially increase those to be able to afford to be able to do the projects that we had listed on there. And if I can get my hands on this spreadsheet, I should be able to tell you where we were on the original estimate versus the adjustment. The 2015 estimate for Topeka Boulevard, 15th to 21st, was $4,900. The current estimate is $9.2 million to be able to do it. We have had just incredible inflation since 2015.
Okay. All right, thanks, Braxton. And I guess a discussion of how we're going to get all the projects in for the money available or not is probably one for a later date, but maybe something that the PI committee could tackle here in the next few months.
Yes, sir. And just as a reminder, in May, of course, the JADO Finance Committee has to present to the JADO in terms of an update of where we are on all of those projects.
Good point. We can watch for that presentation. All right, no more questions. I'll move approval on this project.
Motion has been made.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion has been made, seconded, approved. We're now at action item 4D, Southeast Greenfield Court project.
Yes, sir. This is a mill and overlay with some full depth patching, some curb and gutter replacement, sidewalk repair replacements, and pedestrian ramps. It'll be estimated to be $258,000 using the citywide half-cent sales tax as part of our pavement management program.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion has been made to approve and seconded. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm a yes vote.
Okay. All right. The motion's been made and approved. We're moving to action item 4F, Southeast 6th Avenue, Golden Avenue to Rice Road project.
Nope, we got to do a number E first, sir. Letter E.
Pardon me, Steve.
We need letter E is next, Roosevelt Street.
Oh, I skipped E?
Yep.
Okay, letter E. 4E, Southwest Roosevelt Street, 8th Avenue to 6th Avenue project. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem, Mr. Chair. Similar to the previous one, this is a mill and overlay with full depth patching, some curb and gutter, sidewalk repair, pedestrian ramps. With this project also includes some stormwater repairs. It will be a little over $650,000. 287,000 and change will be the half-cent citywide sales tax, 367, 158 in stormwater, revenue bonds, and operating funds.
Any discussion or questions?
Move approval.
Second.
Motions have been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion has been made, seconded, and approved. Vote 3-0. 4F, Southeast 6th Avenue to Golden Avenue to Rice Road project.
Yes, sir. This is a mill and overlay with full depth patching, curb and gutter replacement, sidewalk repair replacements, ped ramps. Also includes storm sewer repairs and also some bridge repairs on the Deer Creek Bridge. Estimate is $5,326,612. $4,689,038 will be using the citywide half-cent sales tax, $300,000 in stormwater bonds and operating fund, and then $337,574 in federal funds for the bridge portion of the project.
Any discussion?
I will gladly make a motion to approve this. It's long and overdue.
Yes,
Right,
ma'am.
Braxton?
Yes, ma'am. I thought you would be appreciative of this project.
Okay, entertain a motion.
That's my motion.
Second. Any discussions? Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Action item 4G, Southwest 21st Street and Randolph Avenue project.
Yes, sir. This is a traffic signal replacement project, part of our 2025 program. Also includes required upgrades to the sidewalks, ramps, and the ped signals. This signal was built in 1992. It's 33 years old, but there has been some damage to the power source connection. We also want to upgrade the detection for bicycle detection, being it is on a marked city bicycle route. Cost would be $443,029 using geo bonds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. 4H, Southeast 29th Street, Kansas Avenue to Adams Street project.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is a pretty intensive project on 29th Street. Includes mill and overlay, some concrete full depth panel replacements, curb and gutter replacements. We'll be installing a traffic signal at Fremont Avenue. Will be water main replacements, some wastewater main replacement, and what's not replaced will be line. Be storm sewer replacements, and then the Butcher Creek Bridge reinforced frame box will be replaced as well as part of this project. It's $7,853,229. It's a combination of funding, including half-cent sales tax, geo bonds, revenue bonds, operating funds, and federal funds for this project.
Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the bridge right there on the curve right there by the railroad past Church's Chicken?
Yes, it's the box culvert that's underneath the railroad bridge.
Okay, and the reason why I asked, so that bridge will be replaced because the railing is really, really bad. And at one particular time, I don't know about now, but it was even like halfway gone. So we're going to replace all of that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion with that.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0.
I do have one more question, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Will that straighten out that curb any? Will that under the railroad, Braxton or whoever? You know, it kind of curves and winds. I didn't know if that would straighten that out any.
I'll have to defer to Braxton or Mark. I believe the curve will have to stay because of the railroad bridge.
That is correct. That's the railroad piers is what's causing that skew in the roadway. The only geometric change is we're going to have to lower that just a touch with that reinforced frame box so we can get the same clearance underneath that bridge. But we'll flatten it on either end of the east and west section so it won't be as an obvious dip.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion on the motion? Okay, we're going to be moving on to action item 4I, Northwest Menninger Road, Green Hill Road to Rochester Road project.
Mr. Chair, this is my last item. This is a project includes a mill and overlay with some full depth patching, also the replacement of a reinforced concrete box and associated water main relocations. The price for this project is $845,000, $475,000 of that will be the citywide half-cent sales tax. 375,000 will be used in stormwater revenue bonds and operating funds.
Any questions?
Motion approved.
Second.
Michelle, we haven't asked you if you had any input. So sorry. Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
I'm an aye vote. I'm sorry.
Motion has been made and approved. 3-0.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
can I ask make a request?
Yes.
When we bring these to City Council, can we get a map with each one of them? I'm familiar with some I'm not, but I think it'd help all of us if we had a map showing location of where the projects are.
Yeah, we can do that for you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Steve. Okay. We're at action item 4J, Lawrence Bay. Is that you,
Chair,
Bryce?
Chair, I'll take the lead on this item. I've got Rhiannon and Amanda on as well. And I can't see all the participants, but I know we invited the attorney for the developer to participate as well. So just to help frame the issue, Resolution 9609 basically required the negotiation by the Public Infrastructure Committee of the terms for the payment of the forgiven specials on the 16 lots owned by this particular developer. Over the course of the last couple of months, we have been in negotiations with the general counsel for the developer and have reached a set of conditions and a proposal for the consideration by the PI committee as well as the governing body, since the resolution requires approval of both. Just in a nutshell, the material terms include the payment of past due specials in the amount of $2.25 per square foot. That comes out to a total of $525,000. The actual past due specials are in the amount of $423,000. So the amount negotiated exceeds the amount of those past due specials by just over $100,000. In addition, the payment will be made and put in escrow pending approval of the development agreement, the RHID, and the CID. Additionally, we've reached an agreement, and for the proposal for your consideration addresses the future specials starting in 2024 on out. We are approximately halfway through the special assessments on these parcels in Lawrence Bay. So they were originally for 20 years, and we are at approximately year 10 in those. So the future specials would be restructured under a community improvement district or a CID, and those future specials would be spread out in 20 annual installments over the 22 years allowed under the statute. The net result of that is it would reduce the amount of the monthly specials from approximately $300 down to $150. The $150 a month is much more in keeping with other developments, including the south part of Lawrence Bay that's been developed by Chuck Daltmeyer at Rockfire and other developments out on the western part of town. The other key terms would be this is all subject to the approval of a RHID or Rural Housing Incentive District that the developer intends to include land acquisition as well as utilities and vertical construction as part of their expenses under the RHID. The RHID requires an analysis by our financial advisor that would basically determine whether or not the incentive is necessary to do this development. We call that the but-for test. The In the previous RHIDs for residential development, the governing body has used an 18% equity rate of return and a 7.5% internal rate of return or cap rate in terms of the benchmark to make the analysis, and that has been agreed to as well. With that, happy to stand for any questions that the committee would have, but we would respectfully request the approval of a deal with these material terms, of course, conditioned on governing body approval of said deal, as well as the development agreement, RHID and CID.
Any questions or discussion for Braxton?
Chair, if I could, so just to be clear, Braxton, on these lots, 16 lots that the city council voted to forgive the back specials. With this agreement, if it goes through, we're going to recoup a large amount of those back specials, if not all. If those would have gone to a tax sale, there would have been no special. We would have lost all of the back specials. The developers also paid the back taxes that were due. And then going forward, we are spreading out the future specials over a longer period of time through the CID so that whoever buys those houses will be able to pay the specials at a rate that makes sense, but the city will recoup the future specials. So just to recap, if this deal that we're looking at right now goes through, the city will ultimately recover the majority, if not all, of the specials on those lots. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct. In fact, the payment of past due specials exceeds the amount of the back due specials.
So in addition to that, by use of the RHID, by use of the SID to spread out the specials, that allows the developer to build houses out here and sell them in an area that frankly has been undevelopable due to the high specials primarily for the last 15 plus years. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Any other questions or discussion for Braxton?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I think a question that will come up, Braxton, is what if they renege? Then where do we go?
The resolution states that if we cannot reach an agreement and get it approved by the governing body by the end of March, then those 16 parcels, the 16 lots would be donated to the land bank.
Mm-hmm. And so are you saying that the owner has agreed to this? What you just, the information you just gave us, is they're in agreement with that?
Well, I don't want to speak for the general counsel for the owner, but so I will let her answer that question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Braxton and Councilmember Ortiz. Yes, we, as Braxton outlined, we had been in negotiations over the several months here and have come to reach terms in which I think everyone sees as mutually agreeable with contingencies of the RHID and those things mentioned by Braxton. To further address your concern, Councilmember, the proposal by the developer in an act of good faith would be to escrow those special assessments as agreed upon if we were to reach that agreement and get it approved. And therefore, pending all the other contingencies, we'd be able to escrow and release those funds upon everything else falling in place. As you're aware, there's about I think 4 to 6 resolutions that have to be passed as part of the process of the RHID and other things. And so, and we're aware that of the concern of council and would be willing to do that and hold those funds in a protected account.
Okay, thank you for that. What was your name again?
Sorry, I'm Jennifer Sork. I'm general counsel for
Okay,
LB Lots and the related entities.
thank you, Jennifer. Are we good with our timeline, Braxton?
Yes, ma'am. We have 10, we are working on the developer agreement. I should say Amanda is working feverishly on the developer agreement, as well as the developer has submitted the RHID and CID applications. We are looking at a tentative timeline of getting these on for discussion on the March 11th meeting and then action on the March 18th meeting, because the resolution requires the approval by the end of March by the governing body. So it's an aggressive, but we are all working feverishly to accomplish that.
I appreciate that. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, and if we're going to make this work, we've got to move on it. So I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I've got a question
Yes.
it goes back to the timeline. We get this approved by the governing body, then it has to go through the RHID process. When are they expecting to start building? Do we start building this year, or are we looking at next year?
So I will let Rhiannon and Amanda chime in on all of the steps, including the approval by the Department of Commerce of an RHID. I think it would be, there's a potential to get started sometime late this year. But then probably more in earnest to get really moving next year. And I know Ms. Sork is on, can provide an idea in terms of discussions they've had with their team, including their contractor, in terms of the likelihood of getting some ground broken in the end of this year before we get into the Arctic season where you can't get anything done.
Yeah, I can speak really quickly just on the RHID timelines. So kind of reiterating what Braxton said. So what we have right now is the first step, which is the application to create the district. So the developer has helped isolate those 16 lots that we're talking about for the sake of this discussion, and worked to put together the legal boundaries for that and determinations and submitted their application. So we have that on hand here. Payment's been received for the application. So we will bring that forward for discussion on the 11th at council, and then action on the 18th of March. And that action will be to send it to Department of Commerce for their approval of the creation of the district. And then comes in the project plan phase. So it's that two-step process that can be a little lengthy, but I think this is good to start. We need to start the administrative process of the district creation as a first step. So I think we're in good shape to get that accomplished before the deadline.
Other questions or discussions?
Quick question. The council will also, by the end of March, approve the development agreement. Is that correct?
That is correct, Councilman. This is Amanda Stanley, City Attorney. So we are actively finishing up the development agreement. It will be approved contingent on ultimately the project plan meeting the but-for tests and all of the normal things you do. But we're negotiating that up front so that is approved by the end of March. So moving forward, this is hopefully a seamless process laying this out.
Very good. I think that's the key action by the council, is to approve that development agreement as far as this entire transaction, and then that allows the other things to move forward. So thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Any other questions or discussion on this matter?
I might, Mr. Chair, if I could, I might just point out something that's obvious to anybody that looks at the spreadsheet here, but With these 16 lots, again, what we were facing several months ago was a tax sale. We know those lots that were sold previously in that area, some of them sold for $1,000 or less. With that money being distributed amongst all the taxing entities, not just the city. With this proposal, and I'm just looking at I'll pick out a random lot that's currently appraised at about $12,000. With this proposal, we will get $24,000 in back specials. If for whatever reason this development agreement doesn't pass through the city council and those lots go into the land bank, we'll be lucky to get the appraised value. We'll be lucky to get $12,000. We probably won't. So here we stand a chance of getting easily double, if not more, the value of those lots through this process. So I want to commend staff, Amanda, Braxton, all the folks, Rhiannon, all the folks that have worked hard on this, as well as the developer, Ms. Zork and others that I know have put a lot of time in. This isn't ideal. This isn't the route that development should have taken. But the reason we're here is because of things that happened many, many years ago and had nothing to do with city staff that's in place now, and really had nothing to do with the developer. It was a different developer at that time. So this is absolutely the best that we're going to be able to get out of this process. And I appreciate the hard work that's gone into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or discussion on this matter? I don't know if we need a motion on this, or I'm thinking not. Amanda? Okay.
Sorry, couldn't find my mute button. Yes, you do need a motion to agree to the terms of this and pass it on to the governing body for full consideration.
Thank you. Motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Motion passes 3-0. Okay, we're moving down to other items. Anything else to come before this committee?
Sure, I don't have anything further.
Okay. How about you, City Manager?
No, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Michelle?
No.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for showing patience with my newness to the chair's position. I promise you it'll get better. It'll get better. And I too would like to thank our staff for all the hard work that they put into helping us to understand what we need to be getting done. Our city manager, thanks to you. Amanda, thanks to you. You are really a value, and I appreciate how you always are willing to help me in pretty much everything that I get involved in. So I appreciate that. Rhiannon, appreciate you. Okay. All right. If there's nothing else to come before this committee, I would have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it. Motion to adjourn. See you all at our next meeting. Thanks to everyone.
Take care.